tap. Now, one position I think Georgia Tech fans should feel really good about this year as season approaches is the linebacker room. And the reason I feel that way is because you got four veterans we mentioned: Melvin Jordan, EJ Lightsey, Kamen Spalding, Kyle Eifert, right? Those four guys have gotten better. This defensive line's gotten better. And he's mentioned the assistant coach, Jack Tyler, and everything he's talked about with him just being very exemplary in helping these guys take another step forward. He also mentioned Boogie, who is Jason Seymour, the defensive coordinator for this team, and them just playing at a very high level. I think that's very important when we break things down for Georgia Tech because this linebacker room last year struggled. Did they have some good games? Yes. Georgia, I thought they played one of their best games, but it was never consistent. There was a lot of missed tackles, things getting to the second level, right? So this is a big year for these guys because, a lot of these guys are seniors. They don't have any availability coming back, and you want to put your best foot forward on tape. So when you have these four guys in there, and Camus Spalding has been raved about as well, them taking a step forward, them getting better, I think this is only going to help the Georgia Tech football program. And this is what basically was said. He said, yeah, Boogie has done a great job with those guys. Jack Tyler's another guy I'm really high on as a young coach. I brought up Nate Jack is another guy who's really, really good coach. He's coached the position in the ACC. He's coordinated, running this whole side, obviously, of the ball, right? And then he said, EJ Lassie can play both spots. Kyle can play both spots. Cayman Spalding has been the best version of himself for 3.5 weeks now. He's an absolute best version of himself. For him to let go some of the emotional things that he had in the past that kept him from being a contributor as much as he could have, it's allowed him to now really pick up the defense. I laughed the other day. I said, that's another one that Boogie got to, right? Ace has been big in that one. He plays so fast now. He's communicating and just doing a lot of great, really good things on the field. But to be unselfish and to let go some of those things that has been made us a better football team. It's made us a lot better football team. Melvin Jordan's coming back again. Is really giving us a great communicator. He gets everybody lined up. So for me, what I take away from that is okay. Cayman Spalding as a player, right? He's athletic. He's playing at a high level, but he's let go some of the emotional things that was maybe like slowing down his game a little bit, right? And now he's locked into the scheme and system and everything. And he gives them probably one of the most athletic linebackers they have outside of Braylon Outlaw, right? You know what I'm saying? Those two guys probably go neck and neck in terms of athleticism because Cayman Spalding can blitz. Cayman Spalding can call plays. Cayman Spalding can go and cover tight ends, running backs, and be very effective in doing so. We've seen it in the spring, right? But then you got guys like EJ Lightsey and obviously Kyle Eifert who both can play either spots, right? Like Kyle can play will linebacker or Mike. So can EJ, right? So that gives you guys that you can switch and move over in different scenarios that you feel more comfortable with. And it feels like this is going to be the key part of this group. While everybody's talking about the defensive line and how much better it's gotten and how important that position is, it feels like now linebacker is going to be the key piece because if they're good as we think they can be, if they're good as what they've been showing the coaches, then this team as a defense is going to take a step forward, right? Obviously, you got to eliminate the big plays, the busted coverages, all that stuff. But if the defensive line steady in the backfield, but then the linebackers can come just on cleanup duty and make those tackles and make those big hits and make those TFLs, this could be a really good season for this defense. And I think linebacker is a position that people should be more confident about, especially with just the four veterans. He also had this to say about obviously the young whippersnappers and the young thoroughbreds, right? Says that I can't get enough about the two freshmen. Can't say enough about those two guys, CJ and Braylon, 34 and 35. When they're out on the field, it's fun to watch. Now they're going to make mistakes, right? I told the staff yesterday they'll make a lot fewer mistakes in Game 6 because they played the first five. That's the only way to get them to continue to develop. We're committed to that. I'm committed to that. We're going to need those guys, whether they get their feet wet early on special teams, they're ready to play. Outlaw, every time I look up, he was showing up really for the last week and a half on the field. I mentioned that in the springtime, and then he got sick and had to miss a little time. Just a tremendous athlete. CJ had a high level of football IQ, knowing where to be, how to fit plays, how to communicate. That goes back to CJ obviously knowing Joey King for so many years. His high school coach, who also coached Kelvin, said Key, while everyone is talking about the defensive line, and rightfully so, the linebacking core should be a major player in how much better the defense looks in the fall. If that is the case, Georgia Tech should have a big time year. There it is, right? So he talked ravingly about those two guys. So to me, it feels like young thoroughbreds coming in there, pushing these linebackers, these veterans, you know what I'm saying, and them giving them the toolage and knowledge of what they need to do in order to be good this year, tells me everything I need to know. This team ain't messing around. The linebacker room is going to be a much better, much more, I don't want to say aligned, but much more in sync and being able to make the plays they need in order to win football games and win at a very high level. So to me, those are the remnants. Those are the key things that are obviously coming out of this camp. And I think those should be guys you should obviously watch out for this upcoming year. The linebacker room is a room that people aren't talking about enough with Georgia Tech, but should be having a major, major impact in 2026. Okay. So that's obviously massive. And last thing I want to talk about too is the offensive line, right? Them taking a major step forward this year, right? Now, while some people have been talking about the offensive line, well, Najeh, there's a lot of competition. You got obviously both guard spots with Kevin P. Jordan Floyd's been in there a little bit. You obviously got Malachi Carney and Markel Samuel. Jameson Raisinu, right tackle. Why should I be confident? And I think it's right here. I think they've really established themselves from a maturity standpoint, from a play standpoint, from a confidence standpoint. They have a lot of confidence about them. The first 2 weeks, when you combine that installation, the multiples of what they were seeing across from them, and then the ability of the defensive line, it was a tough first couple of weeks, right? Basically said it right there. Like, they struggled the first couple of weeks of fall camp, right? But the maturity, them getting better, right? Them getting more confident, right? Going against that stout defensive line, which will be very good this year, is going to make them better. He said, I told Mo the other day that he got coach of the year for the week. Think about that one. Just how they really, from the first scrimmage until now, the O line has really come together, right? It's important. They've come together, right? It's no secret. I'm going to play guys on multiple positions to be able to develop the most continuity if somebody goes down. That's another key piece of it, too, right? Like, he's not just looking at, oh, okay, let's get Jordan Floyd ready for left tackle. No, let's also develop him at left guard. Let's also develop, I'm saying, Jameson Riggs at this spot as well. Like, I'm going to cross train my guys because I want them, if something happens, they can step in and they can play at a very high level. All of that is very important in my humble opinion because you never know what can happen. Like, go look at Keelan Rutledge, first round draft pick, played right guard majority of his career. He's going to be starting for the Houston Texans as a first round draft pick at center, right? So I think Coach Key sees that and he's like, okay, let me make sure all my guys are cross trained in position and they know how to play all the positions. So then when it's time and they have to switch, right, or they might have to come in for the spot, they can come in and play at a very high level. That is very important in my humble opinion. I think that's going to only help this football team, obviously moving forward. Says I don't believe in playing the backup at a certain position because that guy goes down. I want the sixth best offensive lineman to go in, right? Then the seventh best after that, right? So he's not just looking for, okay, yeah, I need to have the backup go in. No, who is my next best offensive lineman? Is it Jordan Floyd, right? Is it Cortland or Courtney Hurd, right? Is it Xavier Canales, right? When he's healthy, is it Josh Petty? Like, I want my next best offensive lineman to go in and play any of the spots that we need. It's very important, right? Because you're getting your next best player on the field, not just at the position, but your next best offensive lineman. So that cross training piece is very, very important for the Georgia Tech football program and for this team. And I think that's something that has to definitely be talked about a lot more, and it's very interesting to say the least. All right, and then here's the last part I want to mention. We've been working all those guys, finding the right spots for people, right backup spots for people, and finding those guys we're going to play with. I've been really, really happy with the offensive line. You're seeing those accumulated double teams, body blows, and just to work with each other really starting to add up now. The production of the offense is obviously going along with it, said key. So that's a key piece there, right? Offensive line's gotten better. They took their lumps early on in camp. Defensive line was doing their thing against them. They gotten better from a confidence and maturity standpoint, right? And I think the key piece now is finding the best guys for the right spots. But cross training everybody. So then my next best offensive lineman, if an injury happens, or if somebody's struggling, or if somebody's not playing well, they can go in, they can be plugged and played, and they can play at a very obviously high level. I think that's very important and massive moving forward. And I think for Georgia Tech, that makes you feel good about offensive line, right? With so many, different battles and position battles and different things in camp, you got to be able to know what it's going to be and who's going to play at certain positions and things like that. And I think for Georgia Tech, they're finally figuring that part out. And with Coach Key, we know how important offensive line is, right? Talked about tight ends. We talked about obviously running backs being very important for this identity, but it's also offensive line. If the offensive line is not humming or playing at a high level, that affects everything this team wants to do and how successful they're going to be in 2026 and beyond. Right. So those are the two things I definitely wanted to mention there.